So this video was originally going to be about this tweet right here and the possibility of President Conor McGregor fighting under the UFC and having a literal world leader fighting in MMA. And then this comes up. Conor McGregor invites Donald Trump to try the best Coca-Cola in Ireland days after losing a civil case. You know, Conor McGregor now, we know who he is. He is a walking headline generator. And, you know, I also want to talk about what Khabib said about him and show you that clip. But I guess we'll talk about this one and read this article quickly because what world do we? I do not know what world we live in anymore. Conor McGregor invites Donald Trump to try the best coke in Ireland days after losing civil case. Let that sink in. This is an actual news headline. This is a historical event. Troubled ex-UFC star Conor McGregor has bizarrely invited Donald Trump to visit his Dublin pub and try the best coke in Ireland. McGregor, who has been embroiled in a string of scandals in recent years, including a civil case, was invited to the White House earlier this year, and now he wants to return the favor and give the president a unique, true Irish experience at the Blackboard Inn. See you in November, Donald, at Ireland's greatest public house, the multi-time award-winning Black Forge Inn. He tweeted out, and this is the tweet right here. Yeah, so once again, he said that. We look very forward. Ireland's friend, real Donald Trump. We have the best Coke in Ireland for you to try. Now, we all know that our boy over here, the orange man himself, likes himself a Coca-Cola. In fact, he has that button where he presses it and somebody brings him a Coke. Probably even has a case under his desk. One of my teachers actually used to do that. It was hilarious, dude. Hilarious. But the way I'm viewing this is much different than how this article is putting it. What do they say? Do they say anything after the fact? Oh, they do. Damn it. Well, I'll go back to it. But yeah. See you in November, Donald, blah, blah, blah. Ireland's friend, Ireland's friend, real Donald Trump. I want to read this once again. We have the best Coke in all Ireland for you to try. Sparkly, fizzy and on the rocks, with Irish lemon and lime, also for adding ice cold. Our Coca-Cola factory is just 5 minutes away on the Long Mile Road, walking distance from the Blackboard Inn. Give that boy a can of Coke. You are going to love it. The unique, true Irish experience. With this picture. This this is global news. This this is no longer a niche sport anymore. This is like the biggest star the sport has inviting the American president to the Black Forge to drink a Coke? I don't know anymore. I do not know anymore. Um, so yeah, we know that they met in a few months ago, but alongside social media messages, McGregor included an AI image of himself, which you saw it. Um, McGregor's pub was recently set on fire, with the authorities treating the blaze as criminal damages. Last week, meanwhile, the ex-MMA star lost his attempt to overturn a jury's order that he compensated a woman who accused him of assaulting her. Which, if you watched my video the other day, my video was months ago, you know I think that girl is full of horse shit, and I stand by it. Her story makes no sense, and she told everybody involved a different story. But Nikita Hand alleged that McGregor assaulted her on December 9th, 2018. He was found liable back in November, and three judges in Dublin rejected all five grounds of the MMA fighter's appeal. McGregor, 37, was ordered to pay nearly £250,000, nearly $300,000, plus costs after Miss Hen accused him of assaulting her in a hotel in Dublin, which you guys know my opinion on it. Everybody in that room said that it was all good. This did not happen. She even slept with the other guy in the hotel, and the other girl, Kiwi, she called her the next day saying, "Hey, can you confirm that I was assaulted?" And she was like, "No." Like, again, the biggest thing to me was the fact that it was 3 days. Um, everybody in the room, Connor, his friend, the other girl, all denying the statement, and then you had the taxi driver. But I'm getting ahead of myself. McGregor was not present for last week's decision, with Han claiming she had been re-traumatized by the appeal. To every survivor out there, I know how hard it is, but please don't be silent. Silence, you deserve to be heard. Blah blah blah. Yeah. So we know about that, right? But let's go to the tweet right here. Now, what do we know about Connor and Donald Trump? Both rich, both celebrities, both know how to fuck with the media. And this exactly is exactly what it is. Whether you love Donald Trump, whether you hate Donald Trump, whatever it may be, this is Connor fucking with the media. But it's a genuine possibility. And this leads me into what originally I was going to talk about. This tweet that he made um, August 3rd, which is yesterday, around 6 a.m. I pray I'm in as Ireland's president by the time of the fight in the White House. How iconic it will be. A leader that puts his money where his mouth is. I would be in term well over half a year by the time of the White House card. By that time, we would have Ireland into a new government, serving the Irish public as its number one priority, a complete end to the human trafficking scam, and its bypassing of our planning laws. We would have Ireland opt out of the EU migration pact. That would be major. Regardless your opinion on Connor, EU's dogs. They're shit. I blame the EU for mainly majority of things wrong in this world right now, but hey, I can't do anything about it. I'm a 21-year-old with a disability. Border parameters upgraded and fully secured all across the country. The stop and hunt will be underway for those who enter our country illegally, for those who pose a threat to our people, and for those who reach off the state with no intent to support themselves. Imported criminals will be gone, imported dangers will be gone, imported freeloaders will be gone. Our tourist industry will be back on its feet and booming. The theft of our public fund towards any organization that does not serve the interests of the public will be long recovered. The presidential term is 7 years. I'd have Ireland right inside 3, possibly 2, and the first year my term, yeah, culminating in a fight at the White House will be the greatest year in modern history. Ireland, I am your man. Now, I don't care what your political opinions is. I don't care who you support. If this dude goes out there, wins a presidential election after offering maybe that one, coke to Donald Trump, I don't know, man. I really don't know. Which this would be the most gangster move in the sport. He already is the biggest star the sport has ever seen. If he fights as president of Ireland, if Bruce Buffer has to walk into that cage, say, ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening. Whatever's facing this guy. This will be a 3 round fight, blah 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 blah. And now introducing the former featherweight, former lightweight, and president of fucking Ireland, Conor McGregor. That dude, nobody could beat that unless, like, the president of the United States, which it would not be Donald Trump here, unless we have a president that fights in the UFC, or like a prime minister up here in Canada. That it's your only opportunity to see a world leader really go out there and, you know, possibly get the shit kicked out. Like, there's so much going against this guy. There's so much going against this man. But, like, you can't lie. This would be the most comedic result of all time. If they steal him for that showcase, then the NBA Finals won, which that one was stupid. That one was absolutely retarded. I don't know why they brought that one up. But if he does that, pays her off, loses the appeal, and still wins the presidency, dude, you you would you would call on BKFC, fight in the UFC, run a country, you know, run a couple bars. I guess he lost, um, what you gonna call it, proper number 12. What is this sport anymore? Like, I gotta be honest, like, it's at the point where if Conor McGregor shows up or he doesn't, it doesn't matter. To me, like, Conor McGregor, The moment he pulled out of UFC 303, it was very clear to me that, alright, this guy is no longer viable. And, in his prime, he was the guy who would fight anyone at any given time. But now, this is a different peak that he's chasing. Um, I guess I can show you Michael Chandler. He simply replied to it with 335 days, which Chandler's been chasing this fight for 3 or 4 years now. Needs to make back the money that he lost. He's still putting on good performances, but he just got finished by Patty. And Conor probably is the only guy that, like, he could realistically win against at this stage. Like, I love Michael Chandler. He was very fun, win or lose. He still is, but I mean, it's clearly the best move to put Conor against Chandler because Conor is much more technical than Chandler. But Chandler has wrestling, he has power. This is the other part that I want to get to. And you have Conor trying to share coke with Donald Trump. And you have this thing. Now, I don't know if you guys know what the appeal mainly was about, which when I read into it, I don't know why Conor went with this. He basically had Nikita Hand's neighbors testify that her partner at the time beat her before they met up. But let's just read this here. The new case follows McGregor's failed appeal earlier in the week. Nikita Hand has filed a new civil case against Conor McGregor as well as her former neighbors Samantha O'Reilly and Stephen Cummins, who were due to be witnesses in McGregor's failed appeal yesterday. Why? You got your money. You won the appeal. Dude, like, your entire story was a horseshit. You literally nearly broke your character on the stand when they played that recording with your ex. Again, I made a video about this the other day. This trial was horseshit. Utter horseshit. They're painting Conor McGregor as like this, evil guy who preyed on a woman and abused her. When this woman was in his company for 72 hours, along with Connor's friend and the other girl who both testified that no assault happened. In fact, she was the one pushing up against Connor and the other dude who, again, she blew in the taxi and the taxi driver um testified to that. Yesterday, yeah, McGregor, in her own affidavit, Hand described the claims by O'Reilly and Cummings as lies and said that Redmond never assaulted her at any point in their relationship. Hand's lawyers said the introduction of the evidence was an, was an attempt to undermine their client's credibility when she had no credibility. God, man. The Court of Appeal said the application to introduce the new evidence was abandoned in somewhat mysterious circumstances. Concerns of potential perjury were raised by Hand's legal team over the withdrawal of the evidence, and court has referred the matter to Director of Public Prosecution to investigate possible perjury. Based on McGregor's previous grounds of appeal, senior judge in the court rejected all grounds of the appeal from McGregor, and it got dismissed entirely. Why was he using the neighbors when the CCTV footage that wasn't that what D brought up? Like, what about the other footage? And she wasn't talking about the CCTV. She was talking about other recorded footage apparently from that room. Where did that go? Because I know they rejected it before, but why are we not looking at that? The court said Hand was entirely vindicated, and that McGregor's behavior reportedly he had publicly questioned the correctness of the jury's verdict, and Hand's testimony was disproved of by the court. Um, Judge Brian O'More said that given the court's ruling, the abandonment of the application for new evidence would be interpreted by the court as acknowledgement that Hand was correct. But again, dude, how can you look at this situation? You know, we've all been social, we've all hung out, right? We've all partied. 3 fucking days. 3 days, man. Now, I've never done any of it. I've purely done psychedelics and I drank. But like again, they're trying to paint this as, Nikita Hand got really, drunk and McGregor abused her one night and it was horrific. The tank bung got lodged. She had to go to ER, all this stuff. For 3 days. She stayed there for 3 days, dude. That's that is the biggest thing. Apart from her story changing every time she's asked about it, that's one right there. And I get fear or whatever. Maybe that's the reason why. For 3 days, and then again, the taxi driver even said you blew the other guy in the taxi. I don't know, man. To me, like when most of the information came out, like it was like, okay, this is clearly a setup on him. Again, Conor, I can believe that during 2018, he was unhinged. But like, dude, I don't think he's that stupid. I just it did not make any sense. But now I want to end off with what Khabib said about Conor and how he can make a comeback from his personal downfall, and he can change so many lives in that. Khabib Nurmagomedov and Conor McGregor have never seen eye to eye, but that doesn't mean the retired UFC star has given up on his rival. The past 3 years have seen McGregor featured in headlines for all the wrong reasons, including recently being found liable for assault in a civil suit stemming from a 2018 incident in Dublin. A verdict McGregor failed to appeal. Even in his prime, McGregor earned a reputation as a bad boy for his out of the cage antics, and his feud with Nurmagomedov included a violent attack on a bus transporting the former UFC lightweight champion in April 2018, in which McGregor threw a moving dolly through a window. Yeah, I don't think anybody will disagree that Conor was unhinged at that time. There's no doubt about it. But you gotta look at the facts of this situation, what is being laid out. Almost what was said in that court that we don't know was insanely damning. I don't get it. No. Uh, and while I watched it quick before we read the article, but again, dude, could be we don't need to say much about him. Devout Muslim, uh, trains, prays for them.
This is,
Yeah, uh, here we go.
I don't want to mention his name. This is punishment. This is punishment, and he keep doing this, keep doing this, keep doing this. Everything what happened with these old people, women, this, alcohol, this, drugs, everything. This is punishment for him. It's beginning already. And but you know, it's what's the most beautiful part of this. Allah always give for us. Doesn't matter for anybody, everybody, to chance come back. Always, we have always in this world chance to come back. You know, and this is most beautiful things. Doesn't matter how you pay. Allah gonna give you chance always to come back. I think we have chance and we have to change the way how is living. Why I'm talking about this? Because
Pretty
so
gracious
many
thing to
people
say.
know him, know me, know him, and if he gonna change, he can change with him so many other lives too. And that's why I wish him to change himself. If you're not gonna change, he will be punishment all his life. I talk about next time. Round of applause, guys. Come on.
He's a fucking legend. Khabib is actually a legend. No, Khabib's Muslim. I'm not. I do believe in God. I'm not under. I'm not under any like denomination. Like I have a buddy. I have buddies who are Catholic, Protestant. I just believe in the guy, and my own experiences have shaped my beliefs and what I see him now. But I'm not a religious, uh, student, professor, whatever you want to say. Well, man, I see the time where I entered, but seeing Khabib say that about him and seeing it come from the guy that you could argue kind of made Conor go unhinged. It started after the Floyd fight, where you had the busted incident and all that. But like Khabib, he had his own issues with the Russian government, had to move to Abu Dhabi, and he went on to be one of the greatest of all time. Beat the biggest star in the sport and ran with it. He's a top tier lightweight, no matter which way you put it. Whether you have Islam ahead of him or not. And to see a guy like that who Connor really dug deep with him, especially what he said about his father. That's just again when it comes to the internet, I don't view the internet personally. I view the internet as like early 2000s Xbox. Like I come on here, I shoot my shit, I get off, and then I'm a normal, functional human being. Not really. But like, dude, seeing a guy like that, what Bill Khabib was the all that shit that Connor did to him, and he comes down and says, "Hey, anyone can change," and I do believe that with Connor. I think where he went wrong was he got out of the cage. He stopped fighting. He was on his yacht. Which, again, if any of us got $100 million before taxes from one event, we're gonna change. There's no way around it. But it's a crazy world, man. Crazy world. Now, Conor McGregor, maybe he becomes president of Ireland, drinks Coca Cola with Donald Trump, and he fights as the Irish president. But dude, Conor McGregor needs to put some work in. I like what he's doing with BKFC. He is turning BKFC into a powerhouse. Let's see you put the work in. You're getting tested. You're training. You know all that. I want to see Conor compose himself. I think the hand show is shit. I think the other assault case is shit. You got a wife, you got kids, you only got a year or two left in this sport. Let's see you fight on the biggest sport of all time, and let's see you give back to the sport that created you. That's what I want to see from Connor, but let me know what you think down below. This is a longer video, so I don't think many people are going to watch it through, but a lot of information. Let me know what you think about Connor now, and yeah.